Oh, hey. I'm Jen. I started in the world of floral design nearly a decade ago when I desperately needed a change in my life. I thought, I like flowers and I like working with my hands. So I took a few courses and I got my certification in floral design. And then I started working for some big wedding and event companies. Then I even launched my own business, Flowers by Jen, where I've designed dozens of weddings for my friends, clients, and even my own. And I've learned that florists and growers are some of the hardest working, most passionate, most creative people I've ever met. And in this show, we're gonna meet some of those dedicated flower folk, celebrate the work they do, and discover all the ways they're changing the floral industry for the better. Plus, we'll bring some of that flower magic into our own homes by picking up what we learned from our new flower friends and combining it with some tips of my own. So let's get this floral-filled adventure started from the ground up. Whew, I'm so excited. I might just wet my plants. Welcome to County Blooms, where we flower lovers celebrate the master flower growers, creators, and designers right here in our own backyard. We're visiting the farms, gardens, shops, and studios run by talented flower pros across Peterborough County in Ontario, Canada. I'm Jen Pogue, a budding floral designer and full-time garden lover. Join me as we talk flower facts, seek out bountiful blooms, and make some crafty creations, all in this beautiful county I call home. We're heading to the rolling hills of Heritage Blooms Floral Fields, located in Norwood, Ontario. We're gonna meet Claudia, who's deep into the first season of her newly launched You Pick flower farm. Not only can you grab custom-made fresh bouquets from her adorable roadside flower stand, you can also visit her fields and pick your own blooms. And Claudia will show you how to arrange them into your own mason jar bouquet. How's it growing, Claudia?
Hey guys, good. So my name is Claudia MacDonald. I am here with my family on this beautiful farm. So our company is Heritage Cattle Company, and all our animals are free-ranging. They have no grain, so they're 100% grass-fed. I knew I wanted to do something with this farm other than the animals. I just wasn't too sure what. I just saw these beautiful flowers. They were dahlias. I just decided, oh my goodness, that would be fun to grow that. And then I was surprised that we actually could around here. I didn't think you could. I saw it as a challenge. And you know, there was COVID happening and everybody was inside, and I was actually homeschooling that year, my 3 kids. And I just said, I feel like I need a challenge and I need to do something. So I just decided to start and grow flowers, not knowing what I was going to do with it. I've never been good at growing plants. Like, I would not show you my indoor plants because you would laugh. But I thought, why not try it and then not really tell anyone, and we'll just see how it goes. And I had in mind that I was just going to have a little kiosk and sell them in the store. And then I had the pleasant surprise to see all these bloom this year. It was just amazing. So I thought, oh my goodness, what am I going to do with all this? I basically just decided to have people coming here and picking themselves. I just didn't want to have them all dying and just basically, you know, like wasted. So I thought that would be fun and good experience for customers and for people to come and then just enjoy. So it was a win-win for us. And so we just started this summer, and it's been amazing.
Did you always want to grow flowers?
I love flowers. Seriously, I never thought I could grow them. So it never even crossed my mind. So I studied in biology, so that's my background. And so I always had interest for anything living and anything to do with nature. And also I paint, so I'm an acrylic artist. So I've always kind of been interested in being attracted to colors and pretty things, so it's kind of part of the journey. So this year was my first year. Most of my seed I started in March. And then everything was pretty much started indoor, except for sunflowers and some zinnias. So that was a big learning curve to just kind of have everything inside, and I do not have a greenhouse. So that was another challenge. The timing was, I have to say, was the hardest, just to know when to start everything. And then my husband was also kind of like the architect of the garden. He loved anything that's visually nice and lines that are straight. So he was thinking even from the highway to have something that was visually really nice. We did definitely had some bugs, problems, but you just learn as you go, you research, and then you find like natural ways to get rid of them. There is solution out there. We wanted to be sustainable. So we set up a lot of, we're collecting the rainwater from the barn, and it goes into a system underground, and it just kind of goes into the garden. Most of my flowers I will not be able to keep. They're just annual. So I'll have to restart everything next year, except for my dahlias, which I will preserve, and I will have to bring them inside. So there'll be some work to do in October. He'll be all over again next year, but yeah, it will be even bigger and better.
Can you tell us the proper ways to cut a flower and preserve a cut flower?
Yeah, so basically, when you cut the flower, you want to cut it as long as possible, the stem, just depending on the vase height that you have. You want to also take all the leaves, like half of the stem, you want to pull them off even a little bit more. Just you don't want any leaves in your vase because it's just going to get the water murky. So clean water is super important. Some of them you have to do a test, like the zinnias, you have to do the wiggle test. So you want to grab a flower that's firm and sturdy. You don't want to get one that's actually soft and too young because it just won't last in the vase. Do a clean cut, so have really sharp scissor or clippers. You just want to do an angle cut and just put it right in water as soon as you can. It's just nonstop, but you just gotta, I have a motto this year. I kept saying to my husband, like, we'll figure it out, we'll figure it out. So that's kind of how we go with any problems we have. We just figure them out as we go.
All the birds are circling, and all the birds are
Did we just spend the whole day in a beautiful floral field with one of the loveliest humans ever? I think we did. Now let's head back home to Sun Shack and get our fresh cut floral design on, He's not welcome. Hi, welcome back to my home, which we fondly call Sun Shack. This is my favorite place to get creative, and I am so excited to explore all the things that we've learned from our new friends in these episodes and implement them into ways that we can bring flowers into our lives every day. Check out these blooms that I just picked up from Heritage Blooms Floral Fields. Did you see this one? It's so beautiful. So maybe you've picked up some blooms from your local market, or maybe you cut them from your own garden, or maybe your neighbor's garden, just kidding. And you want to make a hand-tied bouquet that you can pass off to someone special too. Well, I'm going to show you how to do that, and then we're going to wrap it up with a very personal touch so we can pass them off in style. We're going to need clippers, bind wire or twine, craft paper, some tape. I've got some fancy floral tape here, and some ribbon of choice. Today I'm choosing purple. I am definitely going to use some of these show-stopping dahlias here. Make sure the stems are relatively clean. I'm going to use a couple of these cosmos. Whoop. And some zinnias. A sunflower or two. They're so beautiful and happy and cheerful. So I'm going to start with some of the sunflowers because these are some of the most difficult ones to style. So if I just kind of hold them in my hand, then we can kind of style around them. Throw a couple of the zinnias here and here. So you just want to kind of hold it tightly in your hand and just kind of place the flowers in between your fingers. This can be a little bit tricky, but you'll get the hang of it with practice. There's really no wrong way to do this. It's completely all about what you like and what your style is and finding your personal aesthetic. Some people like a bouquet that is a little bit more contained. I personally like it when it's a little bit more wild looking. I really love the contrast of the yellows and the reds. I'm actually just gonna snip this bit off entirely. Throw a couple of these little beauties in there for some texture. Pull everything out so that all the blooms can be seen. It's their time for all of them to shine. Throw a couple of these beautiful dancing cosmos into the mix. I think that looks really sweet. I'm gonna pull the dahlias out a little bit more, holding it tight, but not tight enough that I'm pinching anything or that anything can't move. So now I'm gonna cut all these awkward stems off. And I'm gonna grab my bind wire here. And you're just gonna slowly wrap the bind wire off right where your hand was and wrap it as tight as you can. Not too tight that you're hurting the stems, but tight enough that nothing's gonna move once we take our hand away. Actually, sometimes you can place it down on the table like this and do a nice little bow with the bind wire because that will look pretty once they come out of their wrapping. Okay, see, everything's in place, not really moving around anywhere. And we're gonna cut the ends so that it's nice and even. If you cut the stem straight enough, it will actually stand up on its own. Hey-oh. But I think that is our beautiful little bouquet. Let's wrap it up. So I'm gonna start by laying the bouquet very carefully right down in front of me. And we actually wanna keep the stems hydrated for as long as possible. And so I think I'm gonna do a full wrap on this bouquet. So I'm actually gonna use some paper towel and a lot of water. Soak that baby as much as possible. And I'm gonna wrap this around the bottoms of the stems here. I'm gonna also spray these guys because they love a little hydration station happening. There we go. So I'm gonna place this over here while we get our paper all ready. So we've got our craft paper, we've got our ribbon and our tape. I'm gonna lay the craft paper out and just measure out exactly how much I'll need here. So probably just to the end of the bouquet will do. There we go, we've got our piece. Now, I'm gonna fold one end of the paper down here and then make it a diagonal shape with the bottom end right to you. Fit the flower, the bouquet in there. Cute. I'm gonna grab a piece of our tape. Now I'm gonna cut a piece of ribbon and wrap it around right in the middle. Okay, I'm just gonna tighten up the bow there, and I think it's good to go. Look at your little bundle of joy. It's okay if everything is a little tight in there. It's nice and protected, and it should stay nice and hydrated until you're ready to give it to that special someone. Okay, so let's say that you have leftover blooms from what you picked earlier, or you have a bouquet that you've had for a couple of days and you know it's on its way out soon. An environmentally conscious way to keep blooms in your life is by drying them. It's really easy to do that. Certain blooms are better for drying than others. Roses are really safe to use. Today we're gonna use these beautiful asters and some of those zinnias. Make sure you take all the leaves off. Leaves do not dry very well. They get really brown. Boom, boom, boom. Great. Now get some string and just tie it around a couple times. Make sure it's nice and tight. There we go. That's gonna be secure. And you're gonna want a stick or even a hanger will work well. And you just tie it around. Again, make sure it's nice and super secure. And now we're just gonna hang it in a nice dark place for a couple of weeks. And what you're gonna get is some pretty blooms that look just like this. So these have been hanging for about 3 weeks, again, in a nice dark room in a safe place. So I might keep them on the stick because I think this looks nice as like just a wall piece that you can hang. Or I can take them off the string and put them in a vase. You can also use them for tons of crafts like potpourri and candles, botanical wall art, some of which we are going to be exploring on this upcoming season of County Bloom. So make sure you stick with us and let's keep getting crafty, my friends. Well, today we learned that growing beautiful blooms isn't easy, but wow, can it sure ever blossom into a rewarding business. I'm Jen Pogue, and I hope that I made your daisy a little brighter. See you next time. Fun flower fact. Dahlia flowers have a few meanings, but generally they stand for finding inner strength. This roots back to the plant's ability to withstand harsh conditions. These flowers are a great inspiration to stay steady if you or someone you love is going through a big change. So, my blossom buddies, if you need to hear it today, keep calm and Dahlia on.